Hello everybody and welcome back to Stop the DTE Monopoly. I decided to bring out my EMF meter today and do some tinkering around with that. And since the rain had slowed down to a almost pause, I decided to go outside and do a little check on my original opt-out meters. And let's just see if these meters decide to turn themselves on again. As we all know that have been following this, DTE had used the claim of not DTE's failure. It's never their fault. It was Openway or Itron, whoever makes these meters. There's so many names on them, you don't even know who made the damn meter. Anyway, basically they were trying to say that the meters would just randomly turn themselves back on, that it wasn't their field tech's fault. Well, I had always called bull crap on that, and well, we'll just go ahead and show you the video of the scan that I did on my own meters tonight. I was fortunate enough to have been able to keep my wife on board with kicking DTE out of here when it came time to try swapping those meters over to the no radio opt-out meter. And I have, like I said, I've been fortunate enough to be able to retain the original opt-out meters that were finally correctly opted out and both radios disabled. So let's go ahead and get into the scan here that I did on my meters today. Okay, now if you notice here, it says no LAN, which, like I explained in the video, it also they were never able to reprogram that out. I do believe the tech at the time said that the whole meter would have to be reset back to zero, and for whatever reason, him not being a meter reader, which they're letting you toy with the meter, I would say you're more than qualified to do a read on it. But, who knows with how things go at DT. There's no rhyme or reason, much less, logic behind anything these clowns downtown do. So they weren't able to take the no LAN out of it. I kind of see it as a trophy myself. That was the whole thing that tipped me off about these meters potentially broadcasting, which after having problems finding people that had EMF meters that would be willing to come out and scan my meter without trying to charge me an exorbitant amount of money, that was when I decided to finally just purchase my own meter and try to start helping other people with these things, and not let other people become a victim that some folks attempted trying to make me and my mother victims. So that's what got me into doing the whole thing that I was doing with the meter scans. Here we are, Stop the DTE Monopoly. I'm going to go ahead and do a little check. DTE's biggest defense was that the meters just, after all the radios were disabled, they would just automatically turn back on all by themselves. Well, I gotta call bullcrap on that. That excuse from DTE was simply them trying to get away from the fact that they flat out did not train their field techs properly on how to disable these meters. So basically flat on my residential meter. Let's go ahead and go over to my interruptible AC meter. I'm not sure if the camera caught it on my residential electric meter, but it did say a no LAN. They never could reprogram that out for some odd reason. So here we are, over 2 years later, and these meters have not turned back on since they were properly disabled by a field tech that did know what he was supposed to be doing. Flat there too. So we'll go back again. Yep, still flat. Now if you take a look here, the meter says 21,817. That's today, January 26th. If you remember a month or so ago, I did a video of how bad their readings are and calling them actual readings when basically it was a estimated reading at that point. They came out on December 16th, 2019, last year, and read my meter, my main residential meter at 21,880 kilowatt hours used, when it was actually like 21,085. Well, here we are, January 26th, and we still haven't got to 21,880. I'll hit that in the next week and a half possibly. So, yeah, that's my meter reading. Let's see how they screw it up again, and they will in the near future. These meters still are not broadcasting. January of 2020, they were installed November of 2017. Still nothing. These meters have been through multiple power outages because the grid over in my area sucks. It goes out last summer, or last spring, late summer, it went out almost like clockwork every 30 days to the day. And believe me, these meters have had their fair share of surges. If it was going to reset and just automatically turn back on, I would think it would have done it to these meters by now. So DTE and their poor excuse of just being a bad meter and turning on all by itself, pure fiction, nothing but garbage. They just didn't want to spend the money to send their 200 plus field techs out to get schooled on these properly. They just throw a laptop in their hand and put them in their truck and send them about their way. Oh, you'll figure it out. Doesn't that make you feel a whole lot better knowing that we've all been used as guinea pigs for DTE's little experiment? Scary stuff. And they let these morons control a monopoly. Shame. We need to stop the DTE monopoly. I'm out.